Are we on the air?
Ruh-roh. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel once again. Quick little another update for my license plate thing's broke. Oh well. Another quick little update for my car. We got a couple things left to do here in the shop. I got a special delivery from Glamis this morning. We got the lower shock bolts we needed and the high misalignment spacers for my tie rod ends, so we can get the alignment set and this thing will be good to go. There's one other thing I forgot. When I put this alternator kit on, it lowers the alternator down. There's a spacer that goes in here. The iron blocks are not drilled and tapped right here. You guys can see right there in that flat spot. The aluminum ones are, so I'm gonna go ahead and get that marked and drilled and tapped and get the other bolt and the spacer in there, so this thing will be all finished up as well. So meanwhile, the boys are over there in the shop working on the car. We'll jump over there and talk to them in a few minutes, and meantime, we're gonna get these shock bolts in and get the tie rod ends on so we can get this thing finished up. So since these spacers were such a pain in the butt to get in, I'm gonna try something funky here. These are the bolts that were too short. I'm gonna cut the head off of this bolt, and I'm gonna use the new bolt. I'm gonna hit this whole thing all the way through and see if it holds. I mean, it's a plan. It doesn't mean it's gonna work, but we're gonna give it a whirl here, guys. So like I said, we're gonna cut this off and then just try to hammer it all the way through with the new bolt, and we'll see what happens. You guys doubted me. So as you can see from that little video, that worked. We just cut the head off. You can see I put a ton of anti-seize on there. That's something that we're a real big proponent of here, is using anti-seize on everything. You know, in 5 years or 10 years, when you bend this bolt and you can't get it out, and it's rusted in there, we've had to cut them off. And I mean, we've had cars where we've had to cut out the bottom of the A-arm because the bolt is so seized in there, you just can't get it out. So guys, when you're building cars like this and doing stuff, anti-seize everything. It'll make it much easier to get out next time. So now we can put the washers on and the bolt or the nut, and this side will be good to go. So we went ahead and did the same exact thing for this other side. We took the bolt that was in there, cut the head off of it, and then put the new bolt in there and just tapped it on through. That way the high miss spacers didn't fall out, and everything's good to go. Got all the washers and nuts on there tightened up, so the front shocks and everything are officially 100% completed. We're gonna get the tie rod ends in. Joe's gonna help me align it, and we'll be good to go. All right, so we got the high misalignment spacers in on the tie rod ends. They're fitting in there nice and proper. Lots, like I said earlier, lots of anti-seize and anything that's threaded. You know, these things get rained on, you go through water, whatever, this stuff will seize up on you. So lots of anti-seize. You can see there's a ton up here too, so I can't say it enough. And the reason we say it so much is we work on a lot of cars at Glamis Fab that maybe don't get anti-seized, and it's hard for us to get stuff apart once it's you know, seized together. So if you guys are building this stuff, anti-seize is your friend. I know you're gonna get it all over yourself and on your face and on your clothes and everything else, but it's definitely well worth it. So anyways, the tie rods are in, car's steering on its own. I'm gonna hook up the battery, and then I've gotta go tap that deal in the back for the alternator. And then, guys, this thing's gonna be ready to drive. It's pretty much ready to hit the dunes. Like I said earlier, I'm gonna have Joe order me that hood. We'll get to work on that. In the meantime, let's go over in the fab shop and see what's going on over here. Looks like Joe's working on Ross's car. What up, Ross? Welding a new shock mount. And 7 days a week, this guy's doing his thing. It's amazing.
It's what we do. Just got back from Glamis, what, 2 hours ago?
Yeah, he literally left Glamis at 4 a.m. and now he's back here in the shop, welding away. Hardest working guy in the sand car industry, that's for sure. So this is a cool little Ecotech ripper, beam car. Kind of old school, but getting some new school updates. Got my affordable off-road electric power steering installed. So on top of all that stuff, guys, I've got regular work this week I've got to do. And then I got another car at the house that I'm working on. So that's another LS powered, 2D LS car, a 4-seat lawn travel car. And we're going to show you guys that one right now. And like that, we're here. So this is the car I was talking about. I haven't really talked about this car much on the channel. So this car belongs to a buddy of mine that hurt his back and he can't drive. So I'll tell you guys a story about this car real quick after I get the cover off here. All right, I'm gonna pull the cover off and then we'll get back to you. So I'm sitting here editing this video and I realized while I was filming, I didn't tell the story of this car. So I guess I have a way of forcing people to do things. I don't know. My buddy wanted a car and he kind of wanted to get it for a deal and build it slowly. So I was cruising around. It might have even been Craigslist at the time. I found the car on Craigslist, sent him the link, showed him the car, and then we hooked up the trailer to the truck and we went to go take a look at it. I called the guy and set it all up. So we pull up to look at the car and he pulls out his money while we're still sitting in the truck and he's counting his money. And I pull out a wad of cash out of my pocket and I'm counting money out of my pocket. And my buddy looks over at me and he goes, "What are you doing?" And I said, "Well, I'm counting money." He's like, "Well, what for?" And I go, "Because if you don't buy this car right now, I'm going to buy it. And I'll just make it a roller or flip it or, you know, whatever." And so he was I kind of bullied him into buying the car, I guess. I'm not one to pass up on a good deal. So that's kind of the story of this car and how we ended up with it. I kind of bullied my buddy into buying it, but you know, it is what it is. So, all right, guys, we're going to get back to the video. Here we go. So my buddy bought this car as a roller. After I built my car, we were looking around to get a car for him and his family to come out to the dunes with us. And cruising around on Craigslist and found this car. And it had been completely stripped down. It was literally just a roller. It came with, you know, some loader wheels and some calipers and stuff. And the rest of the parts were in a box. I mean, literally this car had nothing on it. No seats. The dash was empty. It was just gutted. It was literally just a rolling chassis. It had a steering wheel and, no shocks, nothing. So, over time, he slowly put away some money and I put the car together for him. And then, unfortunately, he's got some back issues that prevents him from driving this thing. So, it's up for sale. It's actually never been in the dunes since we put it together. It took about 5 or 6 years to actually put this car together, little bits at a time. 1 month we'd find a set of seats for it, and then we found a shifter, and then pedals, and then wheels, and what have you, and then a tranny and a motor. And so this car's it's got a 5.3 in it, LS, and it's backed by a Mendiola 2D, 5.3 2D deal, LS power car, brand new axles, new CVs. It's got King internal bypasses in the rear and Foxes in the front. It's just kind of what we found and what we had laying around, so that's what we use. So we got the limits. It's got limit straps on it. Comes with 17-inch wheels. But the reason it's here with me right now is we're going to go ahead and tear these side panels off, and we're going to take the hood off, the roof off. We're going to get that panel off and the trunk wing off. As you guys can see, it's got probably a mid-90s graphic scheme and the old school No Fear logo. So we're going to take this stuff off. I'm going to take it to a chemical stripper, have all the paint stripped off, and then we're going to send it out and have it repowder coated black, just to give this car a kind of a fresh look. Like I said, it is up for sale, guys. If you're interested in a 5-seat long travel car with a LS and a 2D, send me a PM. We'll make you a hell of a deal on this car. So anyways, guys, this is the car. We're gonna jump into this and start getting all these Zeus fasteners out, get the side panels off. I've got to take this one arm off to slide the panel behind it, but it should be pretty easy. And we're gonna get all this stuff taken off, and I'll toss it over there in the bed of my truck and get it ready to go to the stripper. So if you remember earlier, I was talking about using anti-seize. These bolts were not put in with anti-seize. So what has happened is the high misalignment spacer has seized itself to the bolt. I'm going to have a hell of a time trying to get it out. So I sprayed some WD on here and beat it out with a hammer, but you can see this high miss is seized onto that bolt. So she's just going to have to stay the way she is. So we'll get this slid back and the bolt out so we can slide the side panel out. And just like that, boys, she's stripped down. The interior pieces stayed stuck. So I'm thinking I'm just going to leave them there, and I'll just hit this whole thing with spray adhesive before I put the side panel back on, and then just stick it back on. Same thing with the headliner. Headliner stayed too. If it doesn't work, I'll just peel it off and re-glue it. It's not a big deal. Same thing on the other side. Panels off, ready to go to the stripper. So this thing's all stripped down. So a couple more features about this car. I did mention it has heated seats. It's got my electric power steering in it. It's one of the ones that we mounted up high, and you actually steer off of it, which is kind of cool. Blue C fuse box, disconnect switch, brand new rugged radio, and 660 intercom. Brand new, like literally never been plugged into and used. Like I said, this car's never seen the Dune since we've owned it. Yeah, it's unfortunate my buddy hurt his back, and he can get up and around and he still works and stuff, but it's just not worth it for him to hurt his back. For as little as he comes to the dunes, or is going to want to come to the dunes, he can always just drive my car. It's not a big deal. So this thing will be in the dunes with me for the rest of the season. So if you guys are serious about it and you want to come look at it or go for a test ride, it'll be with me at Glamis Fab when I'm working out there. So it's always nice having a spare car, when your buddies come out, and that's kind of cool too. So anyhow, guys, this is it. We're going to get this stuff off to the chemical stripper tomorrow, and then go get these side panels powder coated. So guys, I know a lot of you have been asking again about merch. These are our older shirts, but I had them rerun. These are Glamis Fab. We are professional fabricating specialists, but we cannot fix stupid. But money can fix stupid. So guys, these are on sale right now, 25 bucks shipped. I've got them in all sizes. So you guys cop one before the holidays, man. 25 bucks, and they're in stock. So guys, right now, because it's wintertime, we only have these in long sleeve. They're the thin and light, but kind of stretchy. So these are really comfortable shirts. So like I said, man, cop one for the holidays. We got them in all sizes. Just send me a PM if you're interested. All right, so now we're back over at the shop. Those pieces that I sent, I had Joe send these out to our coater. This is the guy that does our floor coatings. You can see my floors are done that way. And this is the foot panel that I made for my wife. So she's got somewhere to keep her feet. And then I went ahead and did the front skid plate too. Just because this thing gets beat up so much with sand, no matter what you coat it in or powder coat or paint it or put vinyl wrap, it gets all jacked up. So it'll look cool black for now. So we're gonna throw these two pieces on and then get back to work. All right, so I got that front nose skid bolted up and got the footrest bolted in there for passengers. Made it for my wife, but if somebody's taller, I made it so you can unbolt it, it comes out. All I got left is to set the toe on this thing. We'll do that tomorrow, and then I'll be driving this thing out of here tomorrow. Also want to give you guys a quick update on the Gear 1 car. So this thing's coming together nicely. Joe's got the arms on, the pedal assembly's in, the shifter's in, he got the fuel tank in. He's got the midboards bolted up and the brake line's done. Boy, he's been kicking ass today. He's got the radiator mounted, got the necks all welded up. I think he did that this morning. So this thing's coming together. This car will come together quickly. So probably another week or two on this, and this thing will be ready to get out of here. We were just waiting on the transmission for this car, and I believe it's done. So that's why we're kind of getting this thing put together. Turbo Subaru, should make about 500 horsepower. It's got a sequential going in it. And then later this week, after tomorrow, when I get my car out of here, we're gonna turn our focus onto this car. This is Danny Tecco's car, twin turbo Honda. We're gonna go ahead and get this motor pulled out, keep all the stuff we're gonna keep off of it, throw the rest away. She's got 2 holes in the block. So I picked up another motor for this car, another J35A4. We're gonna get it stripped down. I've got rods and pistons on the way from P2R, and we'll get this thing off to the machine shop. I'm gonna have the block sleeved. So we're gonna do sleeve rods and pistons. We'll have the heads gone through, just do a nice 3 or 5 angle valve job, clean them all up, and then get this thing put back together. And then we're gonna put it on E85 and turn it up. So we gotta get rid of those 550s that are in here and put thousands in it, and get it on the dyno and get it turned up. So I'll probably load this one up on the trailer, take it back to California, take it over to my boy Compton Rob at Race Front Wheel Drive, and have him retune this thing on E85. And we're definitely gonna turn this thing up. Once it's sleeved with rods and pistons, we're shooting for the moon with these twins on here. We're shooting for about 700. So that's where we're at with this car. All right, so one last thing on my car. I was over at my buddy's shop, the shop where I work on my Honda at, and we do sand cars over there as well. But turns out he had a couple of these bushings for 2.0s. So now my bypasses don't move back and forth. So stoked about that. Got the bushings in there. Don't have to worry about the coilovers. They can move a little bit. It's not a big deal. But yeah, I'm stoked I got those in there, so that'll quiet that down. And let's take a look at this. So that tire's just barely off the ground. Look at how tall that is. This thing's gonna extend so much before it pulls the front tires off. I should be able to charge the whoops hard as hell on this thing now. Not that I didn't already, but this thing's a monster. All right, guys, so that's gonna wrap it up on my car. I know I said that in the last video, but there was a few little things that we had to finish up. Like I showed you earlier, I'm still waiting on the intercom to come back from PCI. We're having the Bluetooth enabled, so no more cords running through the car when you're driving. The next video you guys will see on my car is me testing it in the dunes. I'll be out there next week for Christmas week. I'll be out at the shop Thursday, Friday, Saturday, up until Christmas Eve, and then I'll be out of there. I imagine it's gonna be pretty busy out there, but if I do get a lull in business, I'm gonna definitely take this thing out and give her a rip. So like I said, the next video you'll see on this car is me testing it out in the dunes. We're gonna get back to work on those cars, like I said earlier. So yeah, man, just busy time in the season. So thank you guys again so much for watching. Make sure you grab some of those limited shirts from us. We got a little bit left, just a few, and we're not gonna make those ones anymore. So if you want them, you gotta get them now. 25 bucks, send me a PM. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.